Are you all feeling good?
Fantastic.
Ready to go?
Really good. Excited.
Ready to go?
Yeah,
We're gonna have a real.
looking forward
So we're gonna
good
drop the
confab.
act. We're gonna drop the act. We're gonna have a proper, absolutely great conversation to add loads of value on the Estate Agent Showdown episode, which is being filmed on location. We're in London today.
Posh.
Very posh. We're in a nice little members club here in London. Looking forward to digging deep into the easiness of running an estate agency business for those that are listening. I want to welcome and introduce you to 4 guests. These guys I know quite well personally. I've been working with them for about 2.5 years, but there's even more history beyond that I'm sure maybe they might want to share at some point. So I'm going to introduce you around this way first. So Tom, do you want to just tell people who you are, what you do?
Yep, so Tom Lawrence from Alexander Lawrence Estate Agents. We've been going 8 years in January. I first met Matt a long time ago, 22 years ago now.
Must be.
I was just talking to Ross on the train on the way up. I actually had several job offers from working in retail for a estate agency and made the decision to choose to work at Taylor's. Obviously, you give me the job.
Yeah,
And it was a very good decision. So not to blow too much smoke. But
this
very
is,
good friends.
yeah. It's been brilliant. It's been great to see what you've achieved over the years. What about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Marc Cox from Cox & Co. 5 years into my own business.
Whereabouts is that? Just for the
Brighton and Hove.
Lovely.
So, and I know Matt from my previous role at Mission Mackay. Matt came and done some great training for the team, and we've kept in contact ever since. So, yeah.
You're an MD there, weren't you?
Sales director, partner, everything.
It's a kind of a bit more of a corporate-y feel.
Yeah, it was a bit of a corporate.
But you were in a corporate before that,
It was, yeah. I was in. I started off at Fox and Sons and Black Horse Agencies, Given and Collier.
And how long have you been an agent for? I mean, you only look 21.
Thank you. I was an agent, actually. When I started at Fox and Sons, I was just about to turn 17. I couldn't drive, didn't have a driving licence, and was made to do viewings with keys and walking.
Oh, my God. How long ago was that?
1992, I think. Well, 91, 92, yeah.
Anyone trump that? I mean, I'm 96, I think, when I started.
I'm nowhere near old enough to trump that. So.
No?
Thanks for that, guys.
Not consistently. 1991 was probably just an 18-month stint.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Andrew Wilson. My company's Laysbrook. We're based in North Hertfordshire, just north of Stevenage, but we cover a fairly wide area. We've sold as far south as Dartmouth previously, but
I keep seeing your names pop up in our Facebook groups when people ask for recommendations, and I just chuckle to myself because there's a bit of a conflict of interest. Anyway,
yeah, we met Matt probably pretty much at the start. It's been 7.5 years. I don't know whether he'll appreciate me saying this, but at the time he said he was too busy to speak to us. But we managed to infiltrate. We managed to infiltrate it, and eventually got to work with him, and never looked back. He's been instrumental in our business growth. So thank you.
Thank you. And this isn't promoting me, by the way, but that's very kind of you to say it. And finally,
I don't know you.
Who are
you?
Finally,
He's walking into the wrong room.
Where am I? I'm Ross Final. I own a company called Christopher Pallet Estate Agents, which are in Buckinghamshire, a little village called Wendover. I've been an estate agent for 27 years. I bought a business that had been running since 1973, but I've owned that for 14 years. I've worked corporate, but mainly independent. I met Matt 2.5 years ago, I think, when I was reaching out for some guidance of what am I doing, basically, and where am I going with my business. And next thing I know, I'm in this amazing group, and over the last 2.5 years, we've learned a lot, achieved a lot, and grown massively. So,
well, just for the guys watching this, we started it was a 6-week.
Yes, initially it was
intensive, wasn't it?
Yeah,
6-week intensive. It's now 2.5 years, and after this, we're going out for a few beverages and a bite to eat. I mean, that must be like our 4th or 5th.
I think it's the 5th. I missed the 4th because couldn't get here, but yeah.
Well, look, for the listener and for the watcher, welcome. These guys are real estate agents. They've been doing it for a number of years, and they've gone from working for others to working for themselves and to hire people, employ people, and work with teams around them. So I think you're going to get some absolute gold from these guys today. And I said to the guys just before we clicked go, or film, whichever one it is, that we're going to drop the act for you. We're going to share with you warts and all, the ups, the downs, the challenges. They didn't know I was going to say that. They thought it was just going to be a nice, friendly conversation. So we're going to dig deep into today. And my first question is, what's the thing you struggle with today that people assume you've mastered? So who'd like to go first?
Just generally running a business. It's hard work. It's constantly hard work, and you're constantly having to learn. I mean, everything that we have to do as an independent agent, trying to work in your business, work on your business, keep your staff happy, understand accounts, understand everything. It's not easy.
It's a struggle.
It's all a struggle, definitely, and never really made any easier for us. In terms of the changes that keep coming in and costs and everything else as well.
I really want you to hear this. If you're an estate agent juggling a separate CRM, a standalone website and these different marketing and prospecting tools, it's time to see what Iceberg Digital, the #1 operating system for estate agents, can do for you. At Gigs & Co and within the Gigs Group, we use Iceberg and it's absolutely out of this world. It's a complete ecosystem that makes your agency more efficient and more human focused. We've got AI scouts working behind the scenes, finding the full address details of properties on the market with other agents, matching them to our contact database and even writing the email outreach. No human can keep up with that, and trust me, it's changed the game for us. So if you're prepared to make big changes to how you work and want to lead the way, just head over to iceberg-digital.co.uk today. And as a listener, use the code GIGSSHOW when you inquire for an exclusive perk on your setup. You're gonna love it.
I think the thing is really it's the emotional load. It's really heavy. You know that you're when I do this, I'm trying not to be an estate agent. I'm trying to be a guide and a support to people, rather than you're helping them get through their important stages in life. And there's so much emotion and load that goes with that.
What, from a client's perspective?
Yeah, but your own perspective. You're going on that journey with them if you're doing it right.
So you're taking on the emotions of your clients as well.
Yeah,
that's quite a lot.
Yeah.
People don't realise that, do they?
No.
I think looking from the outside looking in, because there's a lot of people that make a state agency look quite simple when they're walking around lovely houses on the video. But that's not really the real side, is it? So
No.
What about yourself, Mark?
I think the biggest, you don't ever switch off, do you? You literally live and breathe what we do. You're checking your emails at 8 o'clock, 8:30 at night, replying to customers, making sure your team are all in good shape. But I wouldn't change it. I think it's, it can be a real buzz. It's a real hard slog. I mean, we opened our business February 2020, month before the pandemic hit, which was quite interesting because we only had a certain amount of money to fund the running of the business for a period of time.
You came out of an quite a highly paid employed role.
Yeah,
well.
highly paid employee role. We had an amount of money. Then obviously the government shut the country down for 3 months. We didn't get any help because we were a non-existing business. So there was no furlough, no help, if you like. So it was quite a scary time. But obviously we're through that now. This year has been our best ever year. On all fronts, so it's a real achievement. Myself and my team are very focused.
I think that bucks a big trend in the market. If you look around the market and look at the stats that we might touch on today, but that's a real testament to the amount of hard work you put in. So it's not a quick win then.
No, and that's the thing I think people forget. It's about just keep doing it, keep plugging away. Just keep
consistency,
going.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's the thing, is finding that consistency to do everything, and that is. Some days that's really hard to just get up and do it again and do it again and do it again. And a lot of us just don't have, before I joined this group, there was no support network for me, really. I bought out my 2 business partners, the second one, back in 2021. And I was on my own, really, trying to deal with everything. And,
I've heard that a lot of people say it's lonely.
It's very lonely. And you need someone to bounce ideas off, and they're not there. You want to sort of sense check your decisions you're making. You've got prop tech coming at you left, right, and centre. Which one works? Which one doesn't? You know, how much am I paying the right price for it? And you need help with that. And I think just going back to this group, and that's the biggest change for me in the last 2.5 years, is having a network, having people around me that, you know, I can talk to. I can pick up the phone to all of you individually and have a chat. Oh, what are you doing about this? Have you seen this? You know, I was thinking about doing this. And in our monthly meets, and we talk about, you know, varying different things of, you know, whether it be leaflets or valuations or fees, or just to have some guys that understand what I'm going through. It makes a massive difference to me when I'm trying to make those decisions. So yeah, just that consistency of just every day going for it, but just having that support around you, definitely.
What about yourself, Tom?
The constant spinning of plates.
So it's like
Just dealing with multi-tasks on a daily basis, as Mark said. You never switch off, not because you feel like you have to, it's because you care so much that you want to make sure that you're providing that service, much to the detriment of my other half. It tells me off quite often when you're on holiday, responding to an email or a WhatsApp and things like that. And it is very challenging, and as Ross said, it can get lonely. And going back to when we originally started the group, when you start up your business, it's because you're confident that you can do the best possible job. And all egos aside, actually joining the group and sharing so much information has been like, you know, multi-offices as a business that you can bounce off. So that has been instrumental in juggling and spinning the plates, helping to manage that.
Yeah, but without competition, there's so much trust in this room.
Yeah.
You're right, and there's no competitiveness. It's not, what have you done? It's not about that.
Yeah.
It's about support, 100% support and trust.
You said about a network. That's what this is all about, isn't it? It's relationships, trust, network. You know, with what we do, being independent gives you freedom, but it also there's a big weight of responsibility. And you don't, you know, there's no safety net. So having people around you who are potentially experiencing similar journeys and stories is
That's absolutely.
Which of you would you say has been the closest to giving up?
I have done.
And why didn't you?
I did give up. In 2018, I was just struggling. I didn't know where I was going. I wasn't enjoying it. I had 2 other business partners at the time, but I took an opportunity to go and work for another business for a year. And I think I was quite successful there, and did a great job for them. But realised probably about 8 months in that actually, no, I don't want to work for anyone else. I can't work for anyone else. I don't want to ask to have time off to go and see my kids at sports day or pick them up from school or whatever it is. And I don't like being managed at any level, really. And actually, the main reason is because I missed estate agency. Love estate agency. I love what I do.
Is that why you didn't give up?
100%. It was a big thing for me. I said to somebody again on the train up here, you know, I love estate agency. I like to think I'm a bloody good estate agent. I'm really good at what I do. I'm an okay manager. I'm more of a lead by example type of person, and
I'd say most estate agents that have got a small business are.
And I've never had any business training of any sort. No one's ever told me how to run a business, how to manage finance, accounts, or anything like that. You know, I've never had that training, and so I'm just learning on the job. So yes, I gave up. And I was actually in the process of selling my business at the time, and luckily for me, that person got cold feet because they're working at a corporate, and they decided they wanted to retire in 5 years, so it wasn't right for them to buy the business, and they pulled out. And thank goodness they did, because I wouldn't have had a business. I'd have had to start again. Probably be working for EXP or something, but
that'd be all right. You never know.
What everyone's doing nowadays, right? Actually, I quite like avocado. If I'm honest with you, I think I like those guys there. I love what they do there.
What's wrong with the agency UK? I mean, come on.
No. They're all great models in their own right, and obviously we're self-employed agents. But the difference between us and a self-employed agent, as people know it now, is that we're brave enough to have an office and staff and those costs and everything else that comes with it, and not just worry about ourselves, we worry about other people.
You're taking more responsibility.
But yeah, so I gave up, but luckily the stars were aligned differently, and within a year, I was back in my business with a new sort of, emphasis. I wanted to get on with it again and build some new lease of life. Definitely.
Love that. Andy, you look like you were going to share something.
Well, just what you said just now. When you go independent, you don't escape the pressure. You inherit all of it.
Yeah.
It's that pressure, and you asked the question about have we thought about giving up? That's the case.
Yeah.
When you first start, we took a bit of a scattergun approach to it when you reflect on it and look back on it, because you're desperate to be successful. You want it to work.
For someone listening, what sort of scattergun? What does that look like?
I'd say searching for that kind of silver bullet and doing it with various different things, but not being able to measure what each of those individual things achieved or did.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until we sat down and reflected on it, and with your help looked at it, and then you go, actually, let's get back to a bit of doing the basics and doing what you're good at, rather than just trying to throw lots of money at it. And at that point, I'm not afraid to say it, there've been times where you went, we don't know if this money is going to carry on.
And it doesn't. There's no pot of gold, is there? When you're running your own business, there isn't a pot of gold. It's your livelihood. It's your soul. It's got everything involved. When a lot of people go into this, they're used to coming out of a bigger organisation where there is comfort, and if it's not your money that you're playing with,
you have the illusion of a paycheck.
Well, exactly.
Guaranteed salaries.
So every exchange matters, and everything matters financially. But what's the one success you're proud of, but rarely say out loud? So this is a chance to put this on the show and just share something that you're really proud of, something that you're super, super proud of, your personal.
It's, going back to that giving up. So again, I took a year's break out of estate agency and was very lucky to have worked with some friends in recruitment. And I left estate agency because I worked in a really toxic environment. And I didn't understand that at the time. I just thought I didn't like estate agency. So I left, had a year out, and the people that I met in the recruitment industry, I've since gone on to form great relationships with, set up my own business after a year working there. Every day I was logging on to Rightmove, looking at what agents were doing and thinking, why are they doing that? That's not the right price. That's not marketed very well. So I built up a plan of action over that year, left, and subsequently ended up selling a number of the people that I'd met through changing their houses since we began our journey. So I think going back to what you just said about one thing we're proud of, or I'm proud of, is the genuine story from start to finish of actually helping someone get from A to B, as simple as it is, that we've been a part of that journey, and it never changes. I guess it's like scoring a goal. It doesn't change that when something exchanges or completes. It's like, I'm pleased and privileged that we've been able to help that person, and it's not a quick buck. This is long term. People will come back to you because of the service that you've been given. So that's something I'm particularly proud of.
I think it's just building the business from scratch. 6 years ago, Cox and Co.
Satisfaction.
Cox and Co didn't exist.
And I get a sense when you go back just quickly on when you started just before COVID, though it was really fucking hard at that point, when I hear you speak about it with an immense amount of pride.
Yeah, because I think it was just, I was lucky enough that I had some help financially from my father, who was always on at me to go and sort of do it on my own. Was nagging me for ages to do it. And I sort of, like I say, I was in quite a comfortable job, had a really good team of people. We had I generally enjoyed what I did. I didn't have a toxic environment. I had a real good bunch of staff. We had 8 offices. I looked after them all.
Was it hard leaving them?
No, in the end it wasn't, because without boring you, one of the sort of senior partners passed away. And we were left with the rubbish one, if you like.
Say it as it is.
Well, you know me.
We have limited amount of time. Marc's on camera today.
It wasn't that hard, and things went down a certain road in the end, and
it didn't fit you.
It didn't fit. So it was great, and at the time, I remember when I walked out of there on that exact day, my dad got a cancer diagnosis and was told he only had a certain time to live.
Jesus.
And since then, they've doubled his time, and he's still going strong. So
we see him in
yeah,
some of the calls.
exactly.
I've seen him in the background making the tea.
Well, he's in the office. He does the lot. He does the
Where you
helps with
develop the
finance.
photos, in the back.
No, not quite. No, I don't let the old man near technology. No, we don't let him near technology. He's already broken a printer and broken a phone. But yeah, so I think it's just still being here, looking at our reviews, and it's just great. And it's year 5. I think that was always the get to year 5. Then it's year 10.
Are you allowed to say you're not a new business anymore?
No, probably not. I still part of my pitch is still whether baby and estate agents returns, because I'm competing against brands in Brighton and Hove that have been around for 30, 40, 50 years.
Yeah,
but
so
3 of them have closed down, haven't they?
Yeah, in your...
Yeah, a couple of them are closed down. Yeah, the one I used to work for no longer exists. And
Contributed to that.
Any
haven't you?
pride in that?
Yeah.
Any pride in that?
Something that I did have a bet how long it would take for you to say you're in the business today.
I thought I'd beat you to it, but anyway.
I didn't say it. Matt brought it up
I
first.
did. I had to bring it up. But look, what's the one success for you that you're proud of, Ross?
Well,
that you don't say out loud.
Look, there's lots to be proud of for anyone that owns their own business in whatever warp of life. I'm proud of the fact that I had the bollocks to start my own business. Actually, I'm proud of the fact that I have a wife that encouraged me to buy the business that I have. I'm proud of the fact that we're still going 14 years later. I'm proud of the fact that I'm a role model to my kids. I'm proud of the fact that I don't rely on anybody else in terms of my life. It's down to me. And I'm proud of the fact that I'm still going and still doing it. And I like to think in the right way and looking after people. And like Tommy says, this job's about helping people. And if you focus solely on helping people, not how much people are worth to you, it makes the job a whole lot more enjoyable. And I'm proud of the fact that I've got a lot of fans within my area that appreciate what I've done for them, that refer me, that still come and visit me in my office, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years later after selling their house, still pop in and say hi and have a chat. So there's lots to be proud of. There's not one individual thing that I go, yes, that's what I'm most proud of. It's just all of it. And again, just go back to what I said, being a role model for my kids is massive for me, and providing for them off my own back, if you like, and not having to rely on someone else employing me to do that, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. And I've just been kind of debating whether I share something, whether you give me permission to share something that you sent me probably a couple of years ago.
Would be an open, so you can share what you like. That's fine with me.
I think you'd had enough. You were at a low point, but you massively turned it around. And there will be people listening whenever this goes out who are getting towards the end of the year and they're having equally challenging moments, and this podcast today is to give people some inspiration. So we've started with the challenges, but you were really in a, I don't know, you just like, if I read the message out, which I'm not going to, but there was a lot of struggle in there, and actually you just turned it around and you focused differently, and there was things that you chose to do that have made a big difference.
Yeah, I make no bones about it. I'd had enough. I was stressed. I was unhappy. I felt like just closing the door and running away, to be quite frank. I'd had enough. I couldn't, I don't know, I wasn't enjoying things at all, and I didn't know which way to turn.
Sorry to interrupt you, but there was, I've said it before on our calls, I've said it about you, transition was incredible.
Yeah. It was almost overnight.
No, I think actually...
It's working with us, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'd say it was down,
From rock bottom to up here.
I'd say it was down to Marc.
Yeah,
and the fact that he's got a new business.
It was Mark's new business that got me. Look, the facts of the matter is, I wrote that message, and I think, and you reached out, and by putting it down, actually, I wrote down how I was feeling and sent you a message, right? So I hadn't really spoken to anyone about it. So, and actually makes you realise, okay, well, what do you want? But I focused on me. I wasn't looking after myself. I wasn't sleeping very well. I was taking everything home with me. I was worrying too much. I was overweight. I had sleep apnea. I was not in great shape at all. And I was desperately unhappy. So I focused on me, basically, first and foremost. Focused on me. What did I need to do to improve my life? And getting into the gym, going swimming, looking at my nutrition, sleeping, getting to bed early, switching off the laptop, the phone, whatever it was, and and focus on me and getting my head right and starting to like me again. I realised I didn't like myself very much at that point for whatever reason. So I focused on me. And then everything starts to become easier. So
the big start that I hear there that we sometimes don't make, that first step, is telling someone. So, you know, I think guys, I don't know whether you're with me on this one, that perhaps as middle-aged men, should we call ourselves middle-aged men?
You certainly are.
You're halfway to 100, aren't you?
I am halfway on
Half
Tuesday.
a century.
Yeah.
Half a century.
Thank you for reminding me. We don't tell people how we feel naturally, and I think that was a really good starting point for you. But, you know, no one around this table, as much as we'd like to take a little bit of the credit, the fact is you went on and you focused on yourself. And I think, you know, there's an analogy about if you're in a plane and it's going down, who do you put the oxygen mask on first? Is it your kids? Is it your wife? Or is it yourself?
Definitely kids.
Well, do you know what? And naturally, most people will say put it on the kids and everything else. But actually, you've got to put it on yourself first to be able to help more people.
That's exactly it. I was focusing on everybody else. I was trying to keep everyone else happy.
But I think estate agency, and we're going to come on to this, it's very much about pleasing others.
Totally.
And actually you don't if you build that habit in the wrong way.
You get stressed with things and you don't deal with things in the right way. But yeah, you are so focused on keeping everyone else happy and making sure everyone else was all right. You forget about yourself. And, you know, and I have gone through a massive change. I have learned a massive amount. And I've got a handful of people, friends and people I've known for a long time, that have come to me over the last year to tell me about their struggles and how hard they're finding it being a dad, being a husband, working, having a business, paying the bills and everything else. And people don't talk about it enough. They don't feel whether it's comfortable or...
Still feels a bit stigmatised.
Totally. And I think when, you know, certainly for people running their own business, like we've already said, it's a lonely place sometimes. You need someone to talk to, but you don't want to put all your shit on your wife and everything else, you know, because they're worried.
They're
about
emotionally involved as well.
They don't want to worry about you. You want them to think everything's all right.
I think some people have a dim view of masterminds or groups and everything else, and I can understand why. So first of all, this isn't about pitching because I haven't got any going out there at the minute.
I might start a group though, so
but Ross, you're going to go on Ross's. But actually, I probably will now. You've said all of this, but the fact that you've got other people that understand and you trust the people within that group, which is why we kept it to a small amount rather than going to sort of 10, 12, 15. That's obviously, you know, a big thing.
Sharing the load. Sharing the load. And
problem halved is a
and the things that I thought
shared is a problem halved or something, isn't it?
But the things that I thought were massive, actually, you bring it to the group, and Mark makes you realise it's not that much of a problem, Ross.
He's a great therapist,
But no, jokes. Like everyone in this group brought something different to the table, and it helped me massively. But also the encouragement, and then I don't want to let you guys down now. So next time I see you, I better be still doing this and still growing and still get better. And the encouragement that you all gave me was huge in that. It's massive. My own personal development. Again, Tommy and I will probably get onto it about what's our big achievements over the last couple of years. And selfishly, mine's all about me and my mindset, my wellness, and I've changed massively. But that's helped the rest of things. Yes, business has increased. Yes, I'm doing better there, and I'm better at home and all the rest of it. But it's all due to, in large parts, this group and the connections that we've got, and to be able to just be honest and be open with each other and not worry about it.
That performance dips if you haven't got the right energy yourself.
Massively.
Yeah, I think one of the things we forget sometimes is you've got to fill your own cup, and you've got to feel like your energy is being invested in, you're preserving it, because so many people rely on it. And I think that's the responsibility of running a business. That is the responsibility. Don't cry about it in the nicest possible way. If you're not looking after yourself, that will impact the rest of the people around you and in your business. And it's fundamental. So what's the one decision you've made in your business, chaps, that nearly broke you?
Well, I think I've already said about it in terms of marketing from outset. It was...
Go into that a bit more though, Andy, because I see people making the same mistake.
We spent thousands of pounds on
every month
delivering leaflets. I spent a hell of a lot of my time on social media, thinking we thought that was the answer. We thought that might generate activity. What you do? I mean, we've set up. You talked about having branches and high street locations. We don't have that. So our audience perception was our audience is online, and how do we get into people's houses?
Yeah.
So a lot of time and effort was spent on that, and a lot of money was spent as a result, and that could quite easily have finished us.
Yeah. And what did you do differently to kind of get the traction that you were looking for? So for anyone listening to this, they might be, and I've seen actually a friend of mine. He's set up his own. He's part of a self-employed network, and I've seen him doing stuff on social media like competitions, and there's just a lot of stuff that I call painting the wall of the office. Yeah. You know, people love to paint the wall in the office, but they don't love to speak to people. And I know he won't be networking. I know he won't be telling everybody what he's doing. I know he won't be knocking on doors. Shock horror. I know he won't be asking for opportunities for people to work with. I see a lot of people making the mistake that social media will bring them the rewards. And I think it's an important part of brand building.
Oh yeah.
Right. But I still believe we're in sales.
My biggest success was August of last year. I cancelled all social media. I had a fantastic social media girl, but she was a social media person. So she looked after chiropractors, she looked after dentists, she looked after estate agents. So she wasn't an estate agency specialist. And we had to say goodbye. And that money got diverted into Google Ads. And that was the biggest game changer for my business.
And did you manage that yourself, or did you outsource it?
No, I've got a company that outsource it and brief your market. If you give them a shout out, I might get a free month.
Well, I'm going to ask them for some sponsorship for this episode. Yeah, you just said that. That's brilliant.
And they really
Otherwise
helped
we edit
us.
that out. We'll edit that out.
You know, we went down. We even sort of went down the Facebook route with them as well, and that didn't work. And it just, that was my kind of right. For me, I think the public like to find their own estate agent. They like to feel, that's why Rightmove, I don't think, can deliver quality valuation leads for us. I don't think I've ever had a great lead from Rightmove.
Accidental.
We get them that people that are local house to sales that come via Rightmove, obviously, which is fantastic, but that's not a lead that Rightmove have given us. It's come from our information and our property stock. But Google Ads for us was the real.
And what would you put
changer.
out there on Google for
Well, it's just running adverts. It's literally, so when people go estate agent near me, probate valuation,
so you're shifting yourself up the rankings.
And we pay for it, and it's now we're in there. But we've got a great Google review score. We're at 249 reviews now. So just waiting for that 250. There are 2 come in last night, which is brilliant.
We could do it now for you if you want, mate.
Yeah, no, I'd like to get them properly. That's possible.
But you asked what the shift was.
Yeah.
And the shift is, you know, I think I got fed up of hearing it from you. Great conversations. If you say that again, I'm going to punch you, Matt. But it's about maintaining standards, keeping standards high. It would have been easy to go, well, let's follow what everybody else does and chase listings and chase boards and quote low fees and overvalue.
Yeah.
We maintained those standards and did the basics. If you remember the one-to-one that we had when I told you how I was approaching door knocking.
Yeah.
You ripped me apart. It was like, you're
in a nice way.
Yeah, in a nice way. Yeah, but you know, it's doing those things,
Yeah.
doing it. You said consistently.
Yeah.
It is consistency.
I think
Repetition, isn't it?
we're in sales.
Yeah.
I think every business needs a strong sales team or sales force or sales director. And I don't think all of the stuff that's been introduced in the industry since Rightmove, including Rightmove, has really developed the salespeople in the industry. I think it's actually held more companies back. There's companies losing money right now because they don't have a sales team. They have facilitation teams.
Yeah.
And there's a massive difference between the two.
But the biggest shock really is how little time you spend selling houses, but dealing with people.
100%. But I think people, and I hate the word sales actually, because I think it's just it kind
Sales
of
is problem solving.
It turns you off. The word sales is not the right word. It's a solutions based industry or role.
Well, interestingly, where you work in, say, for example, the market after COVID, it was all a bit wild, and you're trying to streamline and adapt your business, and you're WhatsApping and sending voice notes. And we're not in that market now, and we're all about, right, you need to talk to someone, take more of an interest in them, understand their needs, rather than just dropping them a message, keeping it that.
What would you say to someone who says to you, people don't want to talk though, Tom, they want to be on Messenger, or they want an email, or they want a WhatsApp?
Well, you're not going to stand out. You're not going to make a good positive impact. You're not going to be the first person that they're going to think of as a very good first impression that they'd like you to help them on their journey.
Isn't it true to say it's easy to get behind a keyboard and type whatever you want?
And that's laziness.
And it's misinterpreted most of the time because the emotion and the thought process behind it isn't conveyed.
I don't know how many text messages I've sent to people or WhatsApp, and they've come back with like, "Why are you saying that for? I didn't mean it like that."
Yeah, exactly.
That's friends, by the way, not clients.
No tone to a text, is there? But I'd done a ring round recently. We had a property that the buyer pulled out, and I thought, right, Josh was away on holiday, and I'm just going to sit there, spend the next hour, and I'm going to ring 20 buyers. I didn't get to speak to one of them. No one took the call. I left messages. Now, when I was a young estate agent, we had the old hot box, the applicant cards.
Dial the phones.
And my manager would come back. He would literally say, right, guys, pen and paper. This is what I've got. You write down 2-bed, terraced, gives you the price. And you hit the phones and people would take the call and they wanted to know. And, when you do get to speak to people, it's like, send me the details.
Yes.
Because we now can, in theory, take a property on the same day and have those property details in China or Russia or Newcastle or... instantly, actually trying to sell someone, because I don't believe we can sell a property, but we can sell a viewing. If you don't like the property, it doesn't matter what I say, you're not going to buy it. But I can sell you a viewing and make you probably come and see something, and you think, oh, that was either a great use of my time or it wasn't.
But also, isn't it about the experience that buyer has when they're viewing?
Yeah.
If you give a buyer a good experience, that's half the battle.
Yeah, if you've been out viewing, you've got a relationship. Obviously, then it's much easier. But when you're ringing your database from almost like they've had emails and everything else. So what my point is, people have changed.
Everything's changed. The market's
People
changed.
don't like conversations now, and I think with estate agents, because we are untrusted, let's just get it out there. People, as a rule, don't like us. We have to earn their trust. They like it on an email because they've got a paper trail as well.
So I just don't fully agree at all. I love a communication. I love chatting, and a lot of my clients want to talk. They want to have a chat, but it's about timing, isn't it? Right. So what time of day and are they busy? What do they do? So a lot of my clients do want to talk. Yes, they want to be updated regularly via email. Yes, they want to know what's going on. Going back to the phone outs, the ring rounds. I'm going to phone how many people in an hour? 20, yeah. Good luck with that. So with our new CRM system, which I will touch on, that if I've got a new property that comes onto the market or a property that falls through, which automatically emails it out to everybody registered, it then tells me the 5 or 6 people I should be calling to get a viewing. So I can focus on those 5 or 6 people. So a lot of the technology that's come in, like text communication, is great and helpful. But since adopting the new system, there are no...
Which for anyone listening is...
Lifecycle, Weisberg Digital, and it's completely changed the way that we work, massively. And so there's no such thing as a cold call in our office anymore. Every call, we know why we're calling them. We know they're going to want to speak to us because the system's told us that they're clicking on the property, they're viewing the property online and how many times, and it matches to them perfectly for their criteria because they can log in and change their criteria and everything. So we'll never have a situation where we've got 20 people to phone in an hour. We might have a handful of people, and most of those will be good quality calls. So there's certain parts of technology and advancement that's been fantastic. But I think also there's a lot of laziness, and a lot of laziness from people just sitting at desks, emailing shit out and texting and WhatsApping and going, right, they're going to phone me.
You only have to be on LinkedIn and look at all the messages you get from desperados.
I mean, and how many times have you been called from someone on LinkedIn?
Well, he has loads for coaching, but never for a property he's trying to sell.
I promise you now, people have tried to sell to me 100 times on LinkedIn, I've had one person bother to pick up the phone and say, "Hi, Mark, we've just connected on LinkedIn. I think I've got a solution for you." And that guy was the only person that I actually engaged with, because I thought, do you know what, fair enough. And he came at it from a point of view of, you've got a problem, I'm going to solve it. It wasn't coming at you from a problem, I want to sell you something.
The point about all of this is that people are conditioned, you've just mentioned it, to being spammed by messages and being spammed by people.
Do you think AI is going to just multiply that now?
Well, it's all very well having AI control what conversations you make, but if those conversations are done in the wrong way, then you are going to hit a brick wall. It's about if it's the mindset of when you're making the phone calls, and it's incredibly hard to do, but you've gone on about it. Don't make a phone call on the basis that you're trying to get a sale out of it.
No.
You know, the best AI moving forward is going to be actual intelligence, not artificial. You've actually got intelligence, you're going to probably do a lot better than the artificial intelligence.
Well, because that what you've just mentioned about the CRM, about life cycle, is great. Don't get me wrong. It's picking out people who have shown an interaction with properties, but it's got one thought in mind: how do we sell? How do we sell? And I know we're here to sell houses. Don't take that the wrong way.
I don't
think it's just selling. It's everybody's interested in the property market. Everybody's interested in houses and selling and what the house is worth. And how many times have you guys been to a gathering, a party, or something? Everyone wants to talk to these. Okay, we're the most hated industry. Why does everyone always want to talk to us at a party? Everyone wants to be your mate. Everyone wants to talk to the estate agent in the room.
So that's the point about phone calls, then, isn't it? Is give people information.
Totally. But what I'm going back to with the life cycle, it's not just about selling to people. So if you're registered on a database life cycle, you're going to get market updates on a monthly basis, emailed to your inbox, and lots of people read them, and there's lots of useful blogs on there, useful information. If you're thinking of selling, how to prepare your house for a sale. If you put it on the market, how to prepare your house for a viewing, what people are looking for. Loads of helpful stuff. And I'm amazed how many people read these blogs. I don't know why. I mean, they're registered with us and they're looking to move. But some of those people that are looking at the blogs, since I've had Lifecycle, they registered with us maybe 8 years ago. And I've made no contact with them in 8 years. And now I've started sending them blogs on a month. They're reading them, because they're interested in the housing market. So it's not just selling, it's informative, it's updating, and it's much more than that.
Tom, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, sorry to interject, can I just say, where we live in such a fast-paced environment, it's almost like when we joined, we were taught customer service, have a conversation, understand everything about that client, so when you do have a property, you're recommending and suggesting.
Totally.
Where we fast forward to where we are now, there is a lot of laziness. WhatsApp someone, send them a voice note. I don't know about you guys, but although there isn't on one hand enough hours in the day, there's a lot of hours in the day. And if you're impactful with the value that you are mirroring what someone wants, they're going to want to talk to you.
Well, that's the point, isn't
and
it?
That's the
that's
conversion
the point of making the right.
Its delivery is very, very important. And we're doing a lot on that. So much so that I've actually banned the guys from sending WhatsApps as a first initial port of call. If they can't get hold of someone, they will WhatsApp, they will email, and they will text message. If someone doesn't come back to you immediately after that, they're very busy, but you can follow up with a phone call. But people do want to have conversations if it's of value to them. That's the difference.
But if you've got a good CRM, you're not going to have the machine gun approach. Right, I've got to phone all of those 20 people. It's like, actually, it's those are the most likely people to speak to. And if you've
it's
got
funny
a good
you should
CRM,
say
you
that.
do
I was talking to an agent who's may come back into the business at some point with us, and he was saying he works on a different system and how much he misses a system that gives you people to call that want to be spoken to. Just going back to selling, I don't want to kind of lose this thread, because I think this is where people are forgetting what industry that we're in, and we've talked about conversations. So how, I suppose, are you as good at selling as you think you are?
What are we selling? What are we selling?
Sell me this water.
No, but what are we selling? We're not selling houses. We're introducing, hopefully, the right person to the right property. That's not what we're selling.
Selling the viewing, aren't you?
But it's also an experience.
That's all you can do.
Answer the bloody question. Are you as good as selling as you think you are?
I am, yeah, definitely. So in terms of selling myself, 100%.
Good.
So on evaluation, selling what I do and how I do it, and why, they should, trust in what I'm saying and doing and back it up with evidence and everything else. Yes, I am.
Do you think that's changed over the last couple of years?
What's that? has what changed?
Well,
Have I got better at selling?
Your
Your
confidence,
approach.
your approach. Because
100%.
if you remember when we started,
Yeah.
it was 1% kind of territory.
Yeah, totally. So now it's totally different. I'm a lot more confident because I'm backing up what I'm saying with facts and figures.
Give
which
some facts and figures.
Simon
'Cause I think
Gates.
It's a good shout out to Simon Gates.
Absolutely
Gatesy.
massive. Yeah,
Gatesy.
If you haven't engaged with Simon Gates, get on the phone to him. I
He
mean,
loves a stat. He
loves
loves a
a
stat. Simon
Stato
Gates.
Gates.
He loves a stat.
So-
It is brilliant.
But when you hear like the average agent is only selling 50% of what they're taking onto the market,
Is that selling or exchanging?
selling. The exchanging is
Exchanging
like
less.
in my area 46% is going to exchange, where mine's over 70%. And so we aren't just selling a higher percentage of what we take on the market. We're exchanging a higher percentage of what we take on the market. We are asking people to reduce prices a lot less. I mean, nearly 40%. Sorry, change their marketing strategy.
We don't
Pricing
reduce prices, we
strategy.
change the marketing strategy.
First round on Ross when we leave here
Exactly.
today. He's just sworn. We don't reduce prices,
Sorry.
we change the strategy.
So
Tom?
Exactly.
40% of the properties in my area change their strategy, reduce their price. Change their strategy, whereas ours is less than 25%. And we achieve 99% of the price that we're asking on average, whereas the average agent in my area is 96%. So, with Simon Gates' facts figures, we're 52% more likely to sell a property in our area. We find a buyer 13 days faster, and we achieve 2.25% more for houses. And the average agent is nearly 50% more likely to ask you to change your pricing strategy than we are. And so we're doing something right. And we've got lots of happy clients off the back of that.
Do you turn clients down now?
100%.
We're going to come on to that in a minute. But that's some great stats, guys. And if you're listening to this, you ought to reach out to Ross for his new coaching group that he's going to set up.
It's expensive.
but yeah.
It's a good investment.
But I just want to come to Andy on this as well, because from where you were 7 years ago to where you are today, you shared some statistics with me, and we are going to talk about stats just briefly, guys. So if you're listening to this is black and white, independently sourced data. This isn't the guys just making stuff up for this session today. So, Andy, just run through some of your statistics for your business.
Well, I suppose that the key...
and this is the sales part of the business.
The key standout really is the percentage of properties that we complete on. That's 80%.
So you complete on 80% of the houses or the properties that you put to market.
Yep.
And just so I know, because I can't remember everyone's stats inside out, what would the average estate agent in that area complete on?
It's a bit like what Ross just said, probably
About
between
45%.
45 to 50%. Yeah, so it's a 30%. We're 29-30% more likely to sell.
So
a
you're
home.
giving vendors a very clear choice, aren't you? A very clear choice.
But on top of that, it's the value that we create. So our average is 6.77% more for our sellers,
That's amazing. That.
which is
So what are your fees?
1.5%.
You need to be going up.
Yeah, I know.
You're cheap.
3%. What do you reckon?
My stats were on my phone. My phone's turned off.
Oh, bugger.
But if you could look at the WhatsApp group,
Yeah,
Let
I'll
me
look
do
at
it.
for
Let me
you.
do it.
I
let me
did
do it.
actually
Let me
post
do it.
them,
Tommy, do yours.
But I mean, just to quantify that, I don't want to keep talking about that, but it's £30,000 more based on the average price. So
Transaction, yeah.
when sellers are saying, well, I can't afford that amount, I can't afford to pay you that, it's, well, do you want to take the gamble with 30 grand of your money? Do you want to be 30% more likely not to sell and, 200% more likely to have a sale fall through?
And the reason why we're sharing this, there's some gold in this. Well, Mark, I'm going to just share the screen so you can share your stats after Tom. But Tom, do you want to just go through yours?
Well, to simplify it all, we in our patch find a buyer quicker, a month quicker than the average local estate agent. We complete the transaction 6 weeks quicker than the average local agent, and we achieve 2.25% more for the property than the average local agent. And that is why, because we adopt a slightly different approach to the traditional methods, but we do create options and we do create you getting more equity for your property.
Yeah.
And the key is actually selling quickly with a plan.
And
of
you don't work with certain parts of the market.
No.
And I mean, Tom, in our group, we often hear Tom rejecting clients. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
And actually saying, no, we're not the right fit.
And types of property. Doesn't deal with flats.
You don't deal with flats.
No leasehold.
No, we don't have a rentals department. We don't deal with leasehold. And, we've been going now for near on 8 years where we've built up a really good reputation of excellent service.
And results.
And just not a small patch that you're in either. And you've got how many agents in your area? Over 100?
Probably 90 plus.
What we're saying though is we're not focused on volume.
No.
No.
Select is...
We're not focused on volume.
What you said, I know it was a little bit of a joke. You don't reduce prices, you change the strategy. Absolutely. It's about strategy, isn't it? From day one.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to get the right strategy, choose the right one when you go to market as opposed to 6 weeks down the line.
Well, we know from facts that if you don't get your first impression right when you go to market, the chances of you selling are drastically decreased. You're gonna another agent will allow you to just languish and be stagnant, which is ruining your chance of getting the most amount of equity.
We talked about that earlier as well, weren't we? People just rush houses to market. Agents that are just rushing to get the house onto Rightmove because I need another one on my Rightmove pie chart figures. So not thinking actually, those first lot of images are crap. That's crap. That's not going to look good. That's not going to land well. You get one chance to make a first impression.
Yeah.
One chance to launch.
Well, having that like partnering up with someone, an agent or a vendor who you're aligned with, and you're a team together to get to your end goal. Like, this is the goal. Let's work back. Let's understand the process. If you follow that process, it will be not only will it be a quick transaction. Remember, selling quickly is not selling cheaply. You're at the height of negotiation. You'll have a successful outcome, and it's not a lick of the finger, pop it in the air, let's try. We're currently in a buyer's market. We're not in a trying market. We can understand with the data that we've got. If I place you here,
I like that.
You're going to get lots of interest, and with interest, we're in control of the demand. When you're stagnant, the buyer is in control.
Well, this
flipped it on its head.
If you find a buyer within the first 25 days, you're 94% likely to complete.
Yeah.
That's why exchange and completion rates are high. If that extends out to more like 100 days, that drops to 56%.
Yeah.
So those people that are sat on the market for 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes a year plus, they're the ones that the market is just going to turn against them.
Yeah. Yeah,
They're
chasing buyers, aren't they?
But it is educating, though, isn't it? Because
rather than creating competition on their own house.
Yeah.
When you speak to a number of, but when you speak to a potential homeowner, obviously they're a little bit defensive initially. We're not in a rush to sell. Your digital footprint is extremely important. So actually, when you go live, you are in a rush to find a buyer, but you're not being what's the word I'm after? You're not being pressurised. Because you have got that clear plan of action and you're standing out in the marketplace, you're going to have interest. And remember what we said, the key to selling quickly is having that plan of action and getting the best out of the market. Selling quickly, you're at the height of negotiation, and that is simple. Keep it very simple.
How many people sell? You've sold it so quickly. Would you reduce your fee? I love that one. Actually, I should be charging you more.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you get 2.25%, so you've just doubled your investment. But anyway, Coxie.
Yes. Yeah. So my stats. Yeah. So we're.
Speak into the mic as
we
well.
sell over 80%.
Come on, Marc Coxie!
80% of what we do. Compared to the average agent.
Say that again.
80%. Over 80% of what we take on, and the average agent is 59%.
He needs my glasses.
Yeah, I do. My eyes are going. It's 77% compared to the average agent at 50% of exchanging out on their instructions. And we get things through a lot quicker as well. And we're far less likely to reduce the price or change the pricing strategy.
So that's staggering. All of your statistics are staggering, and you are agents that turn clients away. You are very, very clear on the type of people that you wish to work with and who will benefit from working with you.
Massive game changer in my business. I think if I get the facts right, last year, when I got to the end of the year, I realised we had taken onto the market 33% less houses. And it was last year that I decided to start saying no to people, obviously influenced by Tommy more than anything else.
Just touch into that about why you would reduce or reject.
Well, I think,
You can't work with everyone.
A lot of the time as agents, right, we think, right, the more houses you've got on the market, the more you're going to sell. If we've got more, we'll sell more. You've got to get it on the market. And a lot of agents feel like that. And certainly if you work in the corporate world and you've got to justify your position by just getting houses on the market. So you don't really worry too much about the prices going on at, and everything else. So we're just thinking you want to be market leader, and because really market leader's always been the person with the most houses on the market has been your market leader in the area, which is complete bullshit. The market leader is the person that sells a higher percentage of the houses they take on the market. And that is a far more important part. So if you can show those figures that actually that's you're the market leader. So it doesn't matter if another agent down the road is taking twice.
How do you show them without sounding, what's the word?
Arrogant.
Well, you demonstrate. You demonstrate it, don't
You sell, not tell, don't you? I mean, there's ways of delivering those stats. I mean, we do it on our pre-val. We have a card that when you book a valuation with us, the same day there's a letter hand delivered.
Yeah.
With the stats, and you just talk to the client about it on the valuation.
Stories
Tell, facts sell.
Success.
Share experiences.
And you've got comparables. You've got stories from people locally that you've sold for and how you've done it. And it goes back to when you go and sit in someone's room. Again, I don't think any of us go to a market appraisal now there to take the property on the market. I don't think any of us do that. And that's the difference. We're there to offer advice, to give guidance about the market, about what the market's like, how to sell your home, answer their questions. But we're not there to get them on the market. I never ever try to close now in a valuation. I've had people come to me.
The thing is, you don't need to, because you'll understand what they need. They'll be telling you what that looks like, and you're offering evidence of being able to deliver it. So realistically, yes, there is a close opportunity, but most of the time, I think people buy with their eyes. And what they feel, and that confidence that they've got in you. And it's funny, really. I was with a client in London yesterday, and I think they've done like 6 or 7 deals. I mean, their average price is about 700,000-800,000 in October, which was a lot more than many agents around the market. But that's 6 or 7 new stories to tell. And actually, like you just said, facts tell, stories sell. Not every client likes data and statistics, so you've got to balance that up with some great storytelling.
Personal stories.
And when we say storytelling, people might think that's bullshit. It's not. It's actually helping someone see another person's journey, relating to it, and being able to want to go on the same journey to get their outcome.
100%.
And that's you asked earlier about what's your greatest success. I think all of us can probably say, well, I will say for myself anyway, is that personal development from a point of view of not going out to people's living rooms
get the instruction
to try and get
at any cost.
That next listing. It's about empathising and understanding what they want and need.
It's also the power of no.
The
power of no. It's like, and
how
it's
good
not
does that make you feel?
And they want you more, don't they, as well,
like,
when you do
like
that?
The worth. When
You've come out of somewhere where it was get the fucking house at all costs. To
actually, I don't think we're aligned.
How many times have we talked about desperation and desperation? People don't buy desperation.
No, nothing worse than desperation. A desperate salesperson.
So if I
you can smell it, you can feel it in their.
There is, sorry, Mark. There is like some classic stories. Like I valued a house recently around 700,000 with comps, and the lady said, "Oh, thanks ever so much. I've gone with another agent." So I asked politely, "Would you mind give me some feedback? We're always trying to improve on the service that we offer and understand how we could have been differently on this appointment." She didn't come back to me, which I understand. But then the house went on for 950 with another agent.
How much did you say?
700. But I had comps. It's been on for 4 months, by the way.
So let's talk about pricing then, because I know that's a subject that I'm speaking.
But before we do, can I just say, because I started a stat earlier and I don't want to look stupid. So last year I took on 33% less houses.
Bad hosting.
33% less houses, but we sold 25. Our sales figures were 25% higher than the year before. So we took 33% on less and sold 25%. more in terms of monetary value.
So this
in that
coaching
year.
program that you're going to be running is offering those insights.
So we took on a lot less and sold more. Yeah. So and our percentages last year were crazy, nearly 100%. So
and your fees went up.
and fees are up. And wow, I'll tell you what,
By
that does
what
not make a
percentage?
difference. You're going from averaging 1% to pretty much averaging towards 1.5% now on.
So
on everything.
you could argue there's a 35, 30, whatever percent.
So that wasn't that
increase
layer.
on-
There was I didn't
on average fees.
Yeah, the fees hadn't gone up massively on that year, but they go up more so this year. They've gone up. So
The tangible value to everyone, though.
Tell the listener what that is.
So obviously that again is subjective, but actually within the group and listening to how everyone operates and sharing and gaining confidence and understanding your worth and what we've discussed, the power of no. I mean, if we're sharing stats about performance, this group helped us last year to add an additional £200,000 worth of business on the previous year by saying no, by tweaking
So
processes.
an extra 200 grand on your turnover.
Yeah.
By
Tom-
saying
Tom's
no.
buying lunch then.
well, he hasn't invited us to his Christmas do, has he?
Well, I've put a few posts out that it's my birthday because I am reverse angling
Is it
in
your
the
birthday,
fact
Matt?
that-
Don't get me wrong, that all gets reinvested.
Oh,
Reinvested in networking.
should I
Yes.
put the group costs up per month? There's a good question.
Yeah.
No, but look at Coxie.
If
I
you
look
do-
at Coxie
I was just
first.
going to laugh. That's why, because I was going to look at his face.
If you do, I'm joining Ross's group.
His will be more expensive. He
No,
offers
I'm
more
going to
value.
undercut him. I'm going to undercut him.
But
Just bring an extra person in. That's all. We've got to find someone else. So if anyone's out there who wants to join this
Wants to
bunch
join-
of merry men,
Here's a good question. So who here avoids difficult conversations with clients?
Oh, I love them.
no,
No.
you can't.
No.
Who
have
did?
No, I've always been, as you probably know, I'd like to get involved and just be. I'm a great believer in integrity and honesty. And if you can't be yourself and you can't tell someone how it is, what's the point? And sometimes they won't like it, and they won't like it initially.
They appreciate it.
But in the long run,
That's
But
the
would you
difference.
would you say though, since we've started this, the way you deliver it and what you say and how you say it and how you go to people instead
Do
of
you take your sledgehammer out with you still?
yeah, no. Now since knowing Tommy, I'm just no.
Respectfully,
No, I think no.
With respect.
He's got a velvet glove.
I don't deliver it how I would to you guys, obviously, and each client is different. If you've got a little old lady, it's very different. If you've got a young couple, it's very different. So you tailor your thing. But I just think the worst phone call in our industry is as we know, is when a buyer pulls out and you have to ring a seller. That's a horrible, because that's an emotional call, and that's we had that only this week, and that's the only phone call I will dread, because I know I'm going to upset someone.
Well, there's
And I'm
also
upsetting them initially straight away. It's not up for.
I want to share something with you because I've carried other people's emotions for years, whether it's you guys or people around me or clients, and I've definitely suffered by doing that. But recently, maybe in the last 12 months, I've got to a place where my mantra is it's not my job to manage other people's emotions. And the reason why I say that, it's not about having a lack of empathy. Far from it. Actually, I don't think if I'm emotional, I'm going to add as much value to what we need to do next. And this isn't because of what you just said, but I know we've talked about the emotional weight that we take on, and it was at the earlier point of this show. And I want agents to actually think differently about that emotion. I think it's like pressure. I think if someone gives you pressure, it's a privilege, right? They're saying to you, I trust you to deliver, right? But there's a huge amount that we do in estate agency, certainly because we want to please people and get things right, that you have to be really careful about taking the weight of emotion.
Absolutely, but that's the thing. It can't be emotional, and I see it so often how emotional some agents get, and certainly when you're involved in chains and a problem happens and people get emotional, they get aggressive or angry, and that's not why we're here. We're here to. Sometimes you have to pick up that call, make that difficult phone call, whether that be, the chains collapsed, whether that be more often than not at the moment, the surveyor's been out, and by the way, there's 10, 20 grand's worth of work to be done to your house. I mean, most surveys at the moment. We won't get onto that one. But you have to pick up the phone, you have to deliver the news, you have to offer the solutions, be positive, be upbeat. This is what we can do about it. This is how we're going to solve this issue.
That's the point, isn't it? Is finding solutions and actually asking questions, giving people options. rather than feeling like you're responsible for it.
We're not
or
responsible.
You should be sorry for it.
We're here to help. We can't help what's happened, but also.
Well, I think we're in a nation that likes to blame someone.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, especially.
Is it the conveyancer's fault? It's our culture, isn't it, to look outside of ourselves? That's a fine. Who can I blame? Who's at fault? Nobody. Very, very few people naturally look in the mirror.
I had a call yesterday from a client that went off for about 15, 20 minutes. And I just let them rant and rave. And at the end of ranting and raving, they went, "Thank you so much for letting me do that. None of this is your fault."
So you didn't even have to.
You didn't have to say anything to them.
So, but they just needed to get it off their chest.
He put it on mute, and he's like,
No, I didn't. I just let them go. There's no point me interjecting and getting emotional about it. They needed to vent to someone. Let them vent to me, because she said if I vent to my conveyancer, she's going to tell me where to go, and she's not going to want to work for me
And charge you 250 quid for
For the
the
privilege.
15 minutes.
But that's it, right?
I love that. I love that. So there's a few takeaways there for someone listening, and Ross managed to get his amazing statistics in about listing 33% less and selling 25% more. But I want to ask you, who around this table overprices the most? Because we wanted to talk about valuations.
You mean out of us?
Yeah, you lot.
Or in our patch?
No, you lot.
can I just share something in recent time?
How are we going to quantify that? Gatesy, tell us.
Gatesy's
Get
figures.
Gatesy on the phone. He'll tell us.
Because obviously,
What's the stats will tell us that.
Yeah, I was
Price
only
reductions.
teasing.
How many of your
Actually,
properties produced in price?
I worked with Gatesy for probably a couple of years now, and he's provided me with some great figures. And up until recent times, we as an estate agent were 90% less likely to ask you to reduce your price.
That's pretty amazing.
Damn, I'm only 50% less likely
Well,
to.
Yeah.
I was only teasing to see if someone was going to, throw someone else under the bus. But actually, I want to get back to the
Can we
question.
save that one for the pub?
What
Do you
you
think
say
that's
we can.
Let's save that one for the pub.
And fees.
Let's come back to that
Hold
one.
on a minute,
Percentage
hold on a minute.
fees or fixed fees, Mark?
Oh no, percentage.
But Matt, you've not given us your figures yet. So
I've got my stats.
yeah.
I'll share those. I've got some corkers. But just coming back to valuation, I wanted to touch on that because I do a lot of work on this with certainly with new clients that I've worked with. But it's traditional, isn't it, for an estate agent to go and give a valuation? Mm-hmm. What do you do that's different to that, so someone listening can maybe think differently? Because your statistics back up something that you're doing that's different.
It's what we've all worked on, isn't it? We don't give a value as such. We give two strategies to help them achieve the best possible price in the current market.
So the client gets to
client gets to choose.
choice.
It's choice, and
But
it's giving them the choice and the guidance.
Depending on their circumstances.
Yeah, depending on their circumstances, whether they found, whether they haven't found, whether they're in a hurry, not in a hurry. And it's then building into that. If they don't take what we recommend initially, it's building into it that in 2, 3, 4 weeks' time, we will go down the second strategy route.
You manage expectations.
And I think you have to do that because ultimately, people are employing us to probably get them the best price for their house. That's probably their number one. That if they could look at 5 estate agents and somehow a light would be shining on the one that's going to get you the best possible price, 99.9% of people would choose that person. But you have to demonstrate the strategy and how you're going to get them there, and do it with a smile and be a nice person to deal with during that process.
Definitely.
And I think that's really important because no one enjoys putting their house on the market. They just don't. And we can make it so much easier for our customers. One of the things I love to do is when I go in and I see young children, it's families, having had children myself and being through that when they're young and you're trying to keep the house tidy. I like to say to people, look, we're only going to do viewings on a Friday and Saturday for you. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Someone walks in my office with a big bag of cash and says, I want to come and view 99 Acacia Avenue.
AML, mate. AML.
Acacia Avenue.
Okay, 99 Acacia Avenue. I'm going to be asking to do a
Classic.
viewing. However, it's really important that you live your life 5 days a week without worrying about the call from the estate agent.
Yeah.
And it's just little things like that that you adapt for clients.
As an
But there is a
independent agent,
process,
you can tailor your
Everything.
service to
Well, we do,
someone.
don't we?
It's
So-
not one size fits
Which
all.
is why being independent.
That's why independent helps. That's why independent is because your client is key, and no two clients are the same.
Yeah.
And so different people need different things, and that's where we can change what we're doing and offer that advice. And on evaluation, market appraisal, talk about what problems can go wrong. Let's talk about what issues can happen, what things can arise. The issues that we've had to overcome, the stories about those things as well, and deal with those difficult conversations at the market appraisal stage, rather than just talk about all the lovely stuff, the nice stuff, and this is what we're going to do, and da 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 da.
You make lots of promises you can't keep.
And the facts don't lie. It's like when you're dealing with a client and you're trying to help them get from where they want to get to where they want to end up, it's like understanding where you should sit in the market, not a price. I understand you need to get the best possible price, but understanding where you should sit in the market that's going to yield you the best level of interest, which is ultimately going to get you the best price.
You don't decide the price, right?
The market
agents
decides
can't
that.
determine the value of.
It's like when you get an offer. Genuinely, if that's the maximum offer, there's no not tying up an offer. It's like, right, we've tested the market. This is the market's response. How can you make that work for you? I'm purchasing on. Have you seen anything you like? I have. Would you pay that? No. Okay, cool. That's not a problem. Let us help you to understand where you should be paying it using comparable evidence. So maybe you might not have got what you wanted for your sale price, but you've more than made it up on your onward purchase. And that it doesn't work that you sell up here and you buy down here.
Differentials, right?
It levels, but the key is to have a buyer to then go out and be able to do what you want to do. That's the key.
So because people listening might not have the same level of stats as you, right? There's some great performances there. So I think maybe people are thinking, well, how do I do that? So I'm starting at the top. So the valuation, what we're saying is do not provide a figure to someone.
I don't think it's about that.
It's two options. It's two options.
I would say a guiding.
I would say it's two figures. It's two starting points to get them to where they want to be. And, in my area, quite often I will tell my clients, the people that are advertising for the least are selling for the most.
Yeah.
Because they're creating competition for their property.
Instead of chasing
Demand.
buyers.
Go in the
chasing
old-fashioned
down.
route. Go in the old-fashioned way, pitching it up here, taking a bid. We know...
It's not adapting to the market.
Buyers are like a pyramid. At the top of the pyramid is the £10 million properties. There's not many buyers up there. Further down you come, the cheaper your house, the more buyers there are. And the more competition you create, you've only got to look at that soppy Prime Energy drink that was released last year, I think, and they only made X amount of bottles and you couldn't get them anywhere, and they're selling for £25 a bottle because everyone wanted one and you couldn't get your hands on them. And
supply and demand.
Supply and demand is the same. If you can create a great open day for your client with lots of interest, and you will sell that property for more than they are probably expecting.
And you've got the backup, you've got the stories, you've got the
loads of
statistics
stories
to back that up. Marie, one of the ladies on my podcast recently, was saying she can't take more clients on because she's...
What a lovely position to be in. I thought she was great.
So she said, look, I can help you, but I can't help you until then. And I just think that's what estate agency is about. It's about being able to say to someone, this is what we do, this is the result for you, this is your outcome. We can work with you, but we can't work with you right now. And I'm trying to encourage listeners to try and look at estate agency different, like yourselves, and
stop stacking them up.
She said,
your client.
Because it's her money going into it, why would I put it on at a price that I've got no chance of achieving?
100%.
Going back to that though, do you remember we had a phone call and I remember sharing it with you guys, and I was really taken aback. Someone had been recommended to us. We were at capacity of the clients that we were dealing with. So actually, we were very politely saying we would love to work with you, but we can't do so for the next 3 weeks or so. And when I advised the client that it's great that you've been recommended, of course we'd love to help, but we're not available to do so until a certain period of time, she couldn't believe that. She was like, what? So I want to give you a property and you can't help me? And I was like, respectfully, I don't know if there's been any confusion. I would love to. You're on with an agent already that can't service you, hence trying somewhere else. And I don't want to be the same as that other agent. So, of course, I'd love to help you, but only at this period of time. And she couldn't believe it. And I was baffled. I was like, how can people not understand that you don't just chuck loads of stuff at a wall all the time?
She came back eventually, didn't she, Tommy? Is that the one that came back eventually as well?
No, I think that might have been a different one. But the principle around it was people are actually entitled and think if they choose you to sell their house, that you have to work with them. And you don't. Not everyone is aligned to be working with everyone. They're not the right kind of clients for you. And going back to what you were saying about the lady on your podcast, at capacity, investing her time, it's important that you're investing the right time with the right clients to get the best outcome.
Definitely.
It's a bit, I suppose what we're talking about is overvaluing damages the industry.
It
right?
does, yeah.
And undercutting
damages your profit, reputation.
Undercutting on fees, is that adding value, or is that insecurity
That's
dressed
We've
up
all
as
got
value?
prices wrong,
That's a
haven't
red
we?
flag, isn't it?
I don't think many people overvalue intentionally. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think that's naive.
I think some people are.
That's extremely understanding of you,
I think a
Mark.
lot of. Well, no, when I say that intentionally, I just mean that some agents are just thick, aren't they?
No, but doesn't
take
it boil
take
down?
950 to 700. Tommy's example.
Yeah.
All the agents that took that on had access to the exact same data as
That's
Tom did.
because the person who's taken it on 900. It's not their money. It's not their money that's paying for the advertising, the
So I
marketing.
come back to
and
my
everything
point. They're a
else.
bit thick.
They're still getting paid.
They're a bit thick.
Or they're being,
incentivized
But also,
most of the
guys,
house.
I've worked
Under pressure's getting
for the
us,
corporate, the Fox and Sons. I've worked for the Your Moves, where it's a numbers game. You KRIs or KPAs, whatever you want to call them.
You're a number.
The guys are targeted to deliver 10 properties to the market each week, and they're paid on that, not paid on whether they sell. So that's an industry issue that we don't have to worry about. Okay, I think the public are seeing through it. Panorama done us a great help with the Connells and the Purple Bricks thing. And I think now with data, we're now living and working in a time where the public have never had so much access to data that we've also got access to as well. And actually, if you can deliver our stats to our clients in a way that they know you're not bullshitting them, you can counteract the overvaluing. People aren't stupid now. They know what's sold in their
100%.
road. They know what that one went for. They know what that one went for, and they're not silly. And
I often ask people that I know, what's driving the decision that you make to choose an estate agent? And they never say fee. They never say fee. The fee is important to them, but the return of investment is more important.
Fee's a funny one, though. I think it's just what you get used to. For years and years and years, people are used to going to 1%. So the second they try and say something other than that, but a bit
is a
less.
mindset.
I love what
100%.
you said. You tackle the challenges up front, and I think for a lot of people that go out and do valuations, if you want to call them marketing strategy meetings, whatever you want to call it, is that I actually think it's really healthy to put that out there early on, and actually say whatever it is you charge, and let's discuss it. And I think you'll get some objections.
It was
But
good
I
to
think,
be challenged.
But I think actually an objection is not always someone saying they don't want to use you. It's an opportunity to find out and clarify what is it that's really going on there. And most of the time, 99% of the time, they just want to make sure they maximise the equity in their asset and that they give it to someone who can do it.
someone that's going to get them the best possible price and can outline a clear strategy and a clear route to get them there. And I think that's really, really important. And if you can demonstrate that with evidence, and we've all lost stuff to over. Everyone in this room has sold a house for more than they thought they were going to, and they've sold them for less than they thought they were going to.
Totally.
And actually, I can't tell you how many houses I've walked out of and gone, we're going to sell that the first viewing. 20 viewings later, we haven't sold it, and the 21st viewing's bought it. Other times I've walked out of absolute stinkers. I thought the sellers are they're not going to get the price, but I've got on with them really well. We're going to have a go. First viewing buys it.
So
The thing is, we are dealing with emotions. It is emotion over logic.
Yeah.
You go and buy a BMW, you know where it is, what colour you want it, how many miles it's done, how many doors it's got, easy. When you're selling a home, it's, is it near the brother-in-law? Is it near your favourite pub? Is it near the schools? Is it in a great catchment area?
How does it smell?
Is it near,
How does it feel?
Is it near your mum and dad's house? These are all things that would vary so differently.
I like the fact Mark's second important thing there was
pub.
it's near which pub's it near?
Did I say second?
Yeah.
Sorry, if I say it, it's got to be near the pub. There was a great pub on the way here, by the way. I noticed.
You've hit a really smart. People say we're in the property industry. I say we're in the people industry, but then again, the next layer is we're in the emotion industry. Because for most clients now, moving is an emotional transaction. It's an emotional situation. So, agents that get emotion and can help people to navigate through those emotions with confidence, with statistics, with
people.
stories.
It's all about people.
It's all about that. And I think with AI and what it's doing, which it's going to help in some ways, I think, for us all to run
Definitely.
businesses.
It already is.
But I honestly feel like there's an opportunity for us to really double down on the things that we've talked about in this podcast.
What will happen with AI is the lazy agents will get lazier.
I think so.
But they will do.
Yeah.
I think it will create more
Because
lazy agents.
It will now be so much easier to be lazy.
You're going to have, like, you can get screening out AI agents who've got a name, they work under the brand, they 24 hours a day, they can field calls, book in appointments, ask questions, and da-da-da-da-da. There's no doubt...
It feels very impersonal.
But there's no doubt that there's a certain amount that will, you know, in the right places will help.
Totally. I think we're all quite traditional agents. You know, we're not new kids on the block.
With
So
a
Well, this is
modern
the
approach.
pale,
there's
male and stale episode.
But there's
Traditional agents
You're
with
not
a
pale,
modern
though,
approach.
Andy. You've just been...
I'm not
That's another
stale.
one. Buyers, not triers. I've got two here.
No, I think, you know, with AI, there are business owners that are looking at AI as, right, I can reduce my staff costs. And then there's other business owners looking at AI going, wow, I can really improve what my team are doing.
Yeah,
and I can
strategically
grow
as
my,
well.
not necessarily grow my team, but I can now grow my patch, grow my area because of these things. Not, I can get rid of all these staff costs.
Be
And
different rather than follow the crowd.
100%.
You're utilising it to help.
And
aren't you?
some of the stuff that I'm looking at and seeing at the moment, certainly through life cycle and what they're bringing in with AI scouts and everything else, they, you know, there's lots that we can build for the future, definitely. And I don't think AI is something to be frightened of or worried about. It's about how you're going to use it and trying to understand it. Yeah.
Process.
So, but you, like you're saying, though, for me, the whole world is going to be more about emotions. You know, the businesses that are going to start doing well, more sort of wellness retreats, mindsets, people where there's emotional connection with other people.
I think
that's going to grow massively.
Like, it's really funny, actually. Ollie's doing the film. He's just nodding his head at that point. I shared with Ollie a picture of me and him in Waitrose from 2 years ago. That's a bit of a weird thing to bring
I remember
up
that,
today. But Ollie came up to me because he got to know me through social media. It was a video, I think, wasn't it? And but he came up to me and said, "Oh, what's your videos?" And I thought, wow, you know. And we started
There's
chatting.
one.
He hasn't let him go since. He's been with him for 2 years.
Come back to my house. I've got a spare room.
First I acknowledged. Thank you for the compliment. My next question was, have you subscribed? Have you subscribed? But
And you agreed.
But here's the
And
difference.
shared.
He may not have done that. He may not have opened his mouth, approached me, and said something really kind. But at the same time, he could have sent me that message on social media. Mm-hmm. Well, 2 years later, Ollie's doing what I think his dream is, which is to film content, produce content, be creative, and he's doing that for 80% of his time now. And that's in 2 years. And that's because he connected on a human level.
100%.
I still believe 100% that this is going to go like massively forward. I think people are getting a little bit, I certainly feel disconnected from the world when I'm on my device for too long.
Totally.
And I genuinely know that it's an important part of growing my business or my personal brand, whatever you want to call it. But it doesn't have the same level of depth as sitting in a room like we are today and like we're going to be doing this afternoon, having a real life session, conversation, and connecting. And I think connection is the bit that AI can give you more of if it's the right tool. Because I think we're being driven to not be in great conversations and to be in the real world. The real world is the place that we need to get back to.
And the danger of AI, we're already at that point. The danger of AI is it stops you from thinking, it stops you from doing the things.
It's just lazy.
It's
I mean,
like, it's a bit like a diary, isn't it?
Who watched the John Lewis advert, the Christmas advert?
Yeah.
Who got a bit emotional when they watched it?
That was brilliant.
100%.
But that's what I'm saying. Emotion.
I miss the clubbing days.
Maybe I'm a bit of a negative. I just thought to myself, well, how was that father let himself get in that situation?
No, I get that. But what
That's
I'm saying,
what I thought of it. Took it from it. How was he let himself get disconnected from his kid? Because I'm close to my children. And
what I suppose I'm using that as an example is that if you're not careful, if we're not careful, we lose the real part of life.
Yeah. And the time, which is the time, isn't it?
And kudos to you, Mark, because you are. I can see with your kids recently going off to do their thing how difficult that's been.
Oh, it's been unbelievably difficult. It's the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with. I think it's the closest thing to a bereavement without being a bereavement, which sounds massively dramatic.
Because you've got two children.
Got two children. My eldest went off to Australia. That January morning when she went was horrific. For 2 days, I was in
Mourning.
pieces. Yeah, and do you know what? It sounds crazy. It was. I felt like I'd lost someone. But then you get over it really quickly because then you realise the world's a small place and FaceTiming and then she came back for a month, which was unbelievable. Then she went again, and then now she's not going to be back for Christmas. She's made that decision, and we've sort of said to her, look, it's the right decision. As hard as it's going to be for us, because Chloe, my other daughter, will miss her. It's going to be a tough one, but it's the right decision for her to be away. And I mean, look at it out there, grey, miserable.
I think someone said to me the other day, you've got to love them enough to let them
hang
go,
on,
right?
Hang on. We'd have had the budget. Rachel Reeves is going to pull some rabbits out the house.
Don't start that.
Rachel from accounts.
She's going to make the world a better place.
Just-
We're gonna have to finish soon. This is. Do you know we've been going for probably an hour and a half. This is
Really?
the longest episode of Estate Agent Showdown so far.
Well, you would get 4 of us on.
That was my fault. But
So quick.
it's because you've had fun. They say time
Yeah,
flies when you're having fun.
And when you're with Marc Cox.
And when they're with Cox and Co, everyone. I want to ask you a question because I think we're taught at school to avoid failure because you get graded, right? And I think failure is actually a teacher.
Most important thing in life.
And
is
I
to
believe that
learn to
actually, if someone is watching this, listening to this, and you're going through the shit and you're going through a difficult time, it will soon pass, yeah?
Yes.
But the most important thing I think I've realised in my life with the biggest things that have challenged me is actually I've got a lot of gratitude to what has happened, as difficult as it is to say that. It's taught me a lot about myself. It's taught me a lot about whatever that thing was there to teach me at that moment in time. And I think running an estate agency business can teach you a lot. We are in the emotional industry and it's very, very tough at times. So I'm going to ask you one final question. What's the one failure you're grateful for now? What's your one failure you're grateful for now? Tom?
To a failure that I'm grateful for that's led me to where I am was what I said earlier about the estate agency that I used to work at with some guys, and it was quite a toxic environment. And actually, I was in a place where I might have gone to Dubai to work,
Good
but
place to go.
actually, very good place. Old David Dickinson over there. And I was literally this close to going. I'd sold my property, and I was at my sister's, and I actually met my partner Laura, and if I'm grateful of that because we've now got beautiful children. We now have our own business. So yeah, that is.
So you were at a really tough moment, a tough spot.
Yeah,
And
very
it's-
much so.
And something like that has changed so many other things in your world for the good,
Impact,
for the better.
100%.
That's pretty powerful. Anybody else?
I guess the biggest failure was a previous business
Yeah.
in this industry, in a group that you're very familiar with. Don't need to mention it, but yeah, it was a tough time because I lost a lot of money. I was living hand to mouth, living in overdrafts. I'm not afraid to say every month. But it's given you that standing, that kind of knowledge of what not to do and how to be different. And I suppose that's the biggest success that's come out of it is you know what.
And can you look back now at that? Because that would have been an extremely hard time.
Yeah.
How old were you when you were?
What was it? So I was probably in my 30s.
Yeah. So only a couple of years ago then.
Yeah.
But you'd have been going through it. I mean, when there's money and the pressure of money and everything else is a big pressure. But you'd have been going through it at the time. What got you through it? And can you now look back at that moment and go, that taught me a lot?
Yeah, I can. I suppose it's just resilience, not giving up. I mean, at one stage I was doing 3 jobs, started delivering post in the mornings, I was writing mortgages at lunchtime, and then I was doing Tesco.com in the evening to make ends meet. And it's just having that belief and wanting to change something. And I ended up in what came from that failure, what came from that. I was networking at the time, and I still network. We network every week, but at that networking group, Simon, my business partner.
Shout out to Simon Efford.
Yeah, that's where I met him.
Yeah.
And so you look at would that opportunity have existed? Would that? And we were mortgage advisors to begin with, but then a lot of time has passed since then. But this business wouldn't be about if we hadn't have met as a result of that.
Yeah, I love that. Mark,
I don't know if I've really got failure as such, but I think my biggest probably regret is not doing what I'm doing now sooner.
Okay.
That's probably my and people around me. My wife, who's a great fan, believe it or not, she loves me dearly. I don't know why.
I thought you said she was a fan of Matt's.
Yeah. and my dad were always sort of wanted me to probably go and do the Cox and Co thing years ago.
It's lovely that they believe in you.
Yeah, they believed in me more than I did.
And
probably when I do decide to do it, a pandemic arrives. So talk about timing, but no, it would have been. Probably should have done it 10 years ago.
Did you ever say to them when the pandemic was, I fucking told you I shouldn't have done it?
No, I didn't. Because do you know what? I actually really enjoyed the pandemic.
Yeah.
If I could actually go back, I'd enjoy it even more because we were sitting in the garden. I'm very Middle England now, but getting the old Cardo man turning up with crates of beer, and the weather was great, and the kids were off school. I spent so much time with the girls; it was fantastic.
A lot of memories.
Yeah, and I actually made a video of lockdown, and we actually watched it the other night. It was just hilarious because the kids were really small, and it was brilliant. So I don't think I've got any. Yeah, that's probably my only regret.
That's good.
I think that's my mistake. If you like, is not doing it sooner.
Okay, that's good to hear.
So
that's good to hear. And what about yourself?
Well, we've already touched on it. Really, I think the failure to realise that I wasn't looking after myself, and I was living my life in autopilot. And
it feels like you're on a conveyor belt, you know, like you're on this conveyor belt of life that you don't want to be on, and you know that you shouldn't be on the conveyor belt, but you are.
But you've got these blinkers on, and you're just focused on what's in front of you,
and you're just gradually burning out.
Failure to realise that, and just thinking that you're just focusing on everybody else and making sure everyone else happy. But yeah, as I've already said, once I, became happy with the person I am, myself. My relationships with my wife, with my children, just got better and better. And, let's go back to Mark, when I bought the business 14 years ago, and he did that because of my wife, and it wasn't for her saying, how much do you need? There's a loan, just press that button, it's yours.
Yeah.
And doing it and having her behind me, pushing me. And, and now I feel like I am giving back to my family because I'm happy with myself. So... yeah, my failure was not to look after myself.
And that's a big thing, actually, because if I think about what my wife's done, what my family have done, in terms of support, is they've seen me lose big sums of money,
around, right?
And then they've, actually to invest in this business, the commitment was huge. And that's happened again. So, to have that trust that you're going to do it.
100%.
Yeah, amazing.
And belief in you. Having someone that believes in you more than you believe in yourself sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And it keeps you going.
Interesting, isn't it? We all, maybe that's a bit of imposter syndrome. I don't know what you want to call it, but having other people believe in you and having that is something to be grateful for, hugely.
Massively.
It is.
I know I want to be grateful. I'm going to end the show on a nice... positive ending.
Well, I was going to say, what would be the answer to the question you've just asked us that we've shared from your perspective?
So,
I like that. Well done, Tommy.
Yeah.
I've got a deep one. The one that when I asked it first went through my mind. Lose my brother.
Totally.
So that still it's going to get me now. But what was impossible to get my head round has taught me more about life and how to help other people. Not straight away. It took me a good 10 years and a lot of work to figure out that something so hard can teach you so much in order to improve who you are as a person. But 100%, and that was the first thing that went through my mind as I was asking it, not knowing that I was going to get asked it back. It really did teach me that, if I can get through that, I can get through anything. That's a big thing. And I think we've all shared some absolute gold today.
Hope so.
Ollie's nodding his head over there. I am. And it makes sense for me to say, if you do want to be in a group like this, if you want to send me a message, just say power group, because this is what we call it. And I'm more than happy to look at beginning a new group in the new year with anybody else.
Couldn't recommend it highly enough. So if you're feeling a little bit on your own, unsupported, or just need someone to talk to, I cannot recommend getting yourself in a group.
Or even
enough.
if you haven't got those feelings and you want to improve yourself and develop yourself and
Yeah, that's
make
why
your
I've done
business
it.
better.
Yeah.
I mean, someone said to me, even Steve Jobs had a mentor.
Yeah.
And that kind of I thought, wow, if that guy's
everyone
got a
needs
mentor,
a
then
mentor. Yeah.
yeah, because it's a group, isn't it?
Interestingly, so before I joined Taylor's, I always actually looked to Matt as a big brother figure.
Yeah.
And this 22 years ago. And what this group actually feels like is a band of brothers, if that makes sense, where you can share without being criticised, lean on each other, and it is a massive support. So again, if anyone is wanting a mentorship, as it were, it's not one of these like trade mastermind nonsense. It is from a genuine
He's still getting
self-development.
He's still getting you into trouble as well.
Still
isn't
gives
he?
me a noogie every now and then.
I'm sure we'll do that today.
Oh, brilliant.
So look, what else have I got to say apart from the fact that that's a wrap for this particular show, the longest show that we're going to share. But have you enjoyed it?
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's been very good.
Brilliant.
It's
really
been
good.
actually quite. It's been very good.
Therapeutic.
Yeah, it's been really powerful, and I think there's a lot of people that will get to listen and watch this that have probably had a bit of a glimmer inside maybe what these groups do look like, but also look at the improvements that can be made in this current climate with or without the support of our wonderful government and politicians, who most have never absolutely fucking run a business themselves. But I'm not going to finish on.
Probably can't even run their own households.
I'm not going to finish on that.
Fake news.
This is about you.
Who was
out
that
there.
going to be?
That one, I've never figured out. You probably guessed I've never done a Trump impression.
Oh, Trump!
Is that Joe Biden, wasn't it?
Crooked
Sleepy Joe.
But what I'm going to say
Miliband,
to you,
our next Prime Minister, no?
yeah, follow these guys, follow their brands. So it's Alexander Lawrence, Milton Keynes, Cox & Co. In Brighton and Hove. We've got Christopher Pallet over in Buckinghamshire, but specifically Wendover, and Laysbrook Estate Agents, who are in kind of Baldock, Hertfordshire, Letchworth, that kind of area. I've got nothing else to say other than thank you. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for having us.
Send this on to someone, follow, subscribe. I know you hear that all the time, but it does make a difference, and this episode will definitely make a difference to someone. Thank you.